Hello, this is Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and I recently put up a new application on my website, and it's specifically made for web designers who are just getting into web design and need templates that they can use and so forth. So if we come to MrKent.com and put our mouse over Web Tools, we come down here to Ideal Form Submission. So let's click on that. And if you have ever been filling out a form that had quite a few text boxes, let's scroll down here so we can see our forms. You've been filling out a form and it's got quite a few text boxes, and you accidentally hit the enter key and then it goes and shoots to the next page and you haven't filled everything out. And so basically that's the bottom line of why this page has been put up, and we'll explain how it works, so that if you hit the enter key it doesn't send the form before you're ready. You have to hit the submit button. So let's just say that we're going to fill out this form, and this is poor design. This is form design that doesn't take care of mistakes that people make just because they're people. Okay, so we'll click here and let's say we're going to call our name John Jones. Okay, so we'll go John, and let's say that we accidentally hit the enter key. So we hit the enter key and it takes us to our target page. And our target page, I've got it set up so you just see the raw PHP code. So here's John, and we didn't fill out anything else. In fact, where it says enter your ideas here, that's from the text area down below for entering comments. So let's go back, and you'll notice that we've got John filled in here. We need to finish the form. So we'll go ahead and I don't remember what we'll call him, Smith. I guess we can call him Smith, S-M-I-T-H. Okay, John Smith. Now if I hit the enter key, it'll shoot over there again. But I'm not going to hit the enter key this time. So if we tab down, and by the way, if you don't know, you can tab in a form. That's how we usually do it. We tab down to the comment area, and let's say that we've got quite a few comments, and it's going to take a couple of paragraphs to put our comments in. So let's set up 2 paragraphs so we can take a look here. Is paragraph 1, and we hit the enter key a couple of times. Paragraph 2. Okay, now we're going to submit our form, and we'll see how it ends up going to the target page. Okay, so the raw PHP code looks like this. The first text box was John, second box was Smith, and you notice it says this is paragraph 1 and this is paragraph 2. Only thing is they're all on the same line, so it turns out to be just 2 sentences. So that's not necessarily good form design. So let's go back and we'll go to the good form design and see how it works. Okay, so we'll click over here and we're going to go John Smith, John, and we're going to accidentally hit the enter key. Hey, I hit the enter key again. Nothing's happening. So we have disabled the enter key in this text box and in the next text box. So let's go to the next text box and we'll call him Smith. Oh, yeah, okay, and I'll hit the enter key again and nothing happens. Okay, so now we get down into the comment box where we can enter our ideas here. And so when we click in there, now we're going to put 2 paragraphs in here like we did over on the other form. So we're going to say this is paragraph 1. And hit the enter key a couple times. Paragraph 2. So what we've done with the good form here is we have disabled the enter key on the fields that we don't want the enter key to interfere with, but we've made the enter key available in our text area. So let's see what this looks like when we submit it. Okay, so John Smith didn't show up until we actually submitted the form. And you'll notice that now we have paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. And so this has maintained or retained what we wanted our input to look like. So Now, let's take a look at the code that we use to do some of these things. And on this page, I have 3 sections of code. And by the way, there's a couple things in my code I should have left out, but it won't matter. So we'll scroll down here. And this is the HTML code for a good form. Okay, so this is exactly what is used in the form up above in the good form. We won't even look at the bad form. Okay, first of all, you'll notice that the entire form is enclosed in a container div. Okay, and then as we come down here, we have a div called good form. All right, now this is a div inside of our container div. And so we come down here and the form name is form1, and the action, it sends it over to mystring2.php, method is post, and then we're not going to go through this here check function where you make sure every field is filled out. I'll probably make another video on that. And then this was not necessary. I had used this earlier on my code and I decided not to use it, but it got left in there, so I apologize for that. So here's our first name, there's the label, and then here's the text box, which has a name. I usually use the word ID and the word name because they both come in, they're both really necessary from time to time. Okay, and then here's our last name, label, and the text box. All right. Now then we come down here and our good form div, the one up here, now comes to an end. Now why does that come to an end? Well, let's remember the word good form and we'll come down to our jQuery code, which is going to be up in the head. Okay, and by the way, if you're going to use jQuery, you need to learn to use it. This code should always go in the head of your documents that are going to use jQuery. This brings the library down into your whoever loads up your page. It brings it into their computer, and then they can you can access all the jQuery functions. Without this, jQuery won't work. So you have to have the library. And then I also put this in because I always put both libraries into my pages. This second library is necessary if you're going to use much animation on your page, like having things move around and so forth. Give you an example here. We'll go back to my home page, and if we click on the welcome video, then there's jQuery that flipped the picture around, and then jQuery also brought down the welcome video. So when we click on close, it brings it all back. Now that's animation, and if you're going to use animation, then you need to have this script also. Okay, so now let's go down to our JavaScript and take a look at what we've got here. First of all, this is standard for a jQuery. It says nothing's going to happen until the whole document is loaded. And you notice here is this ID for the good form. Now the good form was the name of the div that had the text boxes in it. All right, so we'll come back down here, and so for that particular div, if event key code equals 13, and 13 is the character code for the enter key. Okay, and it says basically it says if that happens, then return false. In other words, ignore the enter key. And that's all the code that's necessary to cause that to ignore the enter key. Now let's go back up to our form. And so this div, the good form div, everything between that point and the end of that div right there, whenever the enter key is hit, it is ignored. But down in our text area, in the comment box, we want to be able to use the enter key. So this div has a totally different name, which isn't connected to any going the wrong way, to any jQuery code up in the head. So this div accepts any enter key entries. So the text area, where it says enter your ideas here, that text area is not affected by the default return of the enter key. So this total area right here, if you want to use it as a template and use the jQuery code, this is what will you can use it and it'll work for you. All right, so we'll just put it that way. Give everything the same name or change it however you want to do. So let's go back up here and look at this though. You'll notice that when we use the good form design, we had good paragraphs and all kinds of good things happening. So let's go down and take a look at the code for the target page, which is way down here. All right, our PHP code. Now, first thing, if you're a programmer and you're going to be entering data into a MySQL database, it'll lock up if somebody uses an apostrophe or a colon or a minus sign or anything in their normal text. You know, like if, let's just go back up here and just do something here. We'll go up here. And we'll say this is John Smith, and for one reason or another, we're going to put an apostrophe there. Now, when we submit that, you'll notice that there's a backslash in front of the apostrophe. And the reason for that is because we go back, we come down here, once the page gets reloaded, we come down here, and if here's the apostrophe, okay, and it's we in the first name and the last name and the text box. You got to do this for each entry, but it works. So the first name, we replace the string, we replace an apostrophe with a backslash and apostrophe. If that backslash isn't there when you try to use a SQL and put it in a MySQL database, it'll create an error, and you won't be able to enter the data. And who knows what people are going to put on those entry boxes or even into the text boxes. So this is a way of protecting the input so that it doesn't lock up when somebody's trying to fill out a form. So I always use these because you don't know what people are going to type in, and I use it. Here's a double quote, an apostrophe or single quote, a colon, and a minus. Those four are commonly used, and they can lock up if you're putting it into a database. Now, if you're not putting it into a database, you don't need this code. Okay, now let's take a look at something down here. There's one thing though that we needed to use in order to get both paragraphs, okay, and that is we did a string replace for character string 13. All right, now that's the enter key. So if that will come in on the string as character 13. Well, if we don't do something with that, our HTML and our PHP does nothing with it because it's ignored. But if we tell it to replace that with a break, a normal break, then that gives us the HTML break that we need for the separation of the two paragraphs. So this is the code that you could also use for your test page, and it's the target. We call it the target page. So that's how this application is designed to help you create a form that is pretty much ideal for people entering data, and especially if you're going to be putting it into a database. So there you go, and I hope it's been helpful to you. And there's a lot of other tools here that you're welcome to use at MrKent.com. I want to thank you for listening, and God bless you.